Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another day, Tuesday edition of 30NSG. On today's show, we're going to have three topics. First topic today is going to be Call of Duty. Developer Infinity Ward is expanding yet again. Second topic we're going to talk about is how soon is too soon for video game remasters or remakes. And then the third topic we're going to talk about is Resident Evil 4 played on the iPhone 15 Pro, and he didn't like it. So we're going to talk about just the video game, the native video games coming to the iPhone mobile devices and whatnot. So these are the topics we're talking about today. If you like what we talk about, please make sure you hit that like button down below. Hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. And if you'd like to go above and beyond that, you can become a member as little as $5. We do these Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning to about noon Eastern. This week, we are only doing up till Wednesday because it is Thanksgiving here in the States. So if you're watching from around the world, there will not be a show tomorrow morning. And there are also, Thursday morning. Today's Tuesday. Thursday morning. And there also will not be a Generation X Gaming podcast this week because of the holiday. So we'll be back tonight for Let's Play, tomorrow morning for another show. And that's it. And then I'm off for the week and we'll be back on Monday. I will have uploads. So if you miss any of these topics that we're talking about through the live show, they will be breakout videos like the Knights of the Old Republic that we talked about yesterday went up at 9 o'clock this morning. So appreciate you guys coming out. What's going on, Travis? What's going on, Dave Rose? Z, J-Dog, Waterbear, RPG. What's going on? Chief. Who else is here? Robert Jones. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let me see what you guys are saying. Travis says, can't wait for today's show. And I ask my question, but I hope you'll answer it on stream. Do you think that, yes, developers are getting somewhat lazier? Are players getting too demanding? I'll continue. Example. I said yesterday, Frontiers of Pandora is the first person and third on mount, and you either accept it or you don't play the game. Guy I'm talking to says, nah, it's just scrap the game and redesign it. I mean, that's a little harsh, isn't it? I mean, if you don't like something, then yeah, just don't play it, right? I said, no, why would you scrap a game people are okay with in order to redesign it for people who are probably won't play it anyway? For Pandora, I have no problem that it's first person. I mean, that's what it is. If I wish, and I know this is a lot more development time on the back end, I think a game that does it perfect, we talked about it yesterday, Battlefront 2, right? You can do first person, you can do third person, you can do right shoulder, you can do left shoulder. I think that should be the standard going forward, but I understand a lot of companies can't do that. As far as any kind of first person, if there's games that you're playing like a microtransaction, you're buying skins, but you can't actually see your skin, I kind of feel like there should be a third person, first person type of thing. But other than that, I mean, it's also the way they want to make the game, like the design, the art direction they want to go in. So, but as far as to say, are they getting lazier or are we getting too demanding? I think it's a little bit of both, right? I think we can say that some of the developers out there, not developers, companies, suits that don't want to put all the work in, but they want to make the best profit, I would say they are getting lazier. But at the same time, I think consumers, not all consumers, but I think some consumers are just becoming too demanding. Like nothing the developers do will make them okay, right? They're always going to have that problem of, this game's broke, this is this, whatever. Should have done this. Come on, Dave Rose. Dave Rose says, why would you scrap it if the dev team's discussion to make it first-person shooter and you don't like that genre, then don't buy it. Right, exactly. If that's their vision, I do wish, though, that they would do a first-person, third-person type thing. And if they did third-person in Pandora, right, if they can do third-person while you're flying on the mount, but first-person, that's a design choice, but they could do it because they did third-person for the mount, right? I just think it's funny. People seriously believe that you don't like something, you should change for them. Yeah, that's delusional, right? That's delusional. Did you ever see the Marvels? No, I won't see the Marvels. I said it over 2 years ago, I guess now. Coming on January, it'll be 2 years. I said that the last movie I'll watch in theaters was Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. After I watched that in theaters, I literally said I'm not watching any more Marvel films in the theater. And I haven't. I'm just tired of what Marvel's doing. What's going on, Water? Water says, to be honest, I think they went that way because the third person would be pretty much the Horizon Avatar edition. Yeah, but going first person, isn't that the Far Cry edition? I mean, you could always compare it to something else, Water. All right, let me bring up this first story. Go on, sorry. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. I don't know if it's true, but I saw the article that said that Silver Surfer might get gender swap. I'm out. I'm out. You can have your Marvel. See you later. You can have it. Go on, Ghost. All right, let me start with this first one here. Hope she's hot. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of 30NSG. On today's show, we're going to be talking about Call of Duty developer Infinity Ward is expanding yet again. Longtime Call of Duty developer studio Infinity Ward is expanding its operations again, opening another studio to work on the franchise. So one of the development studios behind Call of Duty franchise, Infinity Ward, has announced the opening of a brand new studio to expand its operations. This new studio has opened up into another part of the United States with a position open for developers to apply. Much like this other offices, this expansion of Infinity Ward is happening to continue development on the long haul of Call of Duty series. Now, Infinity Ward also was first founded in 2002 and the original developer behind Call of Duty series. This includes the first game in a series of the original Modern Warfare trilogy and in 2019 Modern Warfare reboot alongside its 2022 sequel. The studio continued to work on the series alongside Treyarch and Sledgehammer Games and Raven Software, and the focus on developing Call of Duty games isn't slowing down either, as Infinity Ward is recruiting for new positions and the newest studio branch. Now, according to the advertisement from Infinity Ward, it was archived by VGC, the studio has expanded its operations into Austin, Texas. Infinity Ward is hiring several new roles, including UI and design positions. Since the studio just opened, this branch of Call of Duty developers is likely in early planning stages for the next title, or supporting games that are in development or already out. This listing mentions how the developers will be looking to create new and innovative experiences for the series by using state-of-the-art tech. This expansion of Infinity Ward comes after the studio formed a new team in Spain earlier this year, which was built a joint venture between Call of Duty mobile game developer Digital Legends and the studio branch from Barcelona. This team would also lead the Infinity Ward's the studio director of art technology, focusing on creating art for the franchise. Now, Infinity Ward was responsible for shipping the third game in the reboot of Modern Warfare trilogy. Sledgehammer Games took up the reins for the main developer in 2023, Modern Warfare 3, with Infinity Ward assisting instead of a bit of a role reversal. Unlike the prior two entries, Modern Warfare 3 was lambasted by critics and fans, earning mixed to negative reviews on launch. Well, that's because they only worked on the game for like a year. And the game's short, lackluster campaign was criticized during the early preview period, which also pointing out how rushed the game feels. Not how rushed it feels. It was rushed. This apparently supported by the allegations of the Activision reportedly rushed the development of Modern Warfare 3 due to the plans of the initial being expansions for the previous entry. Despite that not being critically smashed, Modern Warfare 3 has still sold well, even though not the same exact Modern Warfare 2. With Infinity Ward's expansion, development of the next Modern Warfare 3 game is hopefully going to be a bit smoother. So I find it crazy, okay, Let me give you my thoughts here. I find it crazy. And before I give you my thoughts, if you like what we do here, make sure you hit that like button down below. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, hit the subscribe button. But isn't it crazy that Call of Duty now has, they already have 4 studios, and now they've expanded Infinity Ward to another studio to work on Call of Duty. Like, there's so many companies working on Call of Duty brand IP, whatever you want to call it. It's insane how much money this thing brings in. And it doesn't matter, right? I've called it for years. Since I think I started streaming, I said Call of Duty is the first-person shooter of Madden, okay? It's just like Madden football, where they basically upgrade or update, but it's the same game, just a different skin on the thing. And just like Madden, they come out every single year, and they don't really go above and beyond to make the game better in any way, shape, or form. Now what they're doing is they've basically turned in Call of Duty into Fortnite for adults, is what it is, right? It's they've taken the main actors and IPs that you know and love. They've taken He-Man because they know the people that are playing the game are nostalgic, and they also are older gamers. So they took in Skeletor and Spawn and all these other things that they already know and love. If you put Skeletor in front of somebody that's under the age of like 35, they'll be like, "The hell is that?" They won't know. They literally think John Wick or Keanu Reeves, the guy from Fortnite, for God's sakes. That's the people that play that game, right? So Infinity Ward making another studio for Call of Duty is insane. Call of Duty makes, sells 30 million copies basically a year. Even this bad version that came out recently, that's just a DLC, sold really well, and that's on you, the players. We've talked about this. We watched the Comeback Kids video yesterday. At the very end of his video, okay, he says that the problem is us, the gamers, right? If you want something better, then you got to stop paying and playing games that are broke, buggy, unfinished. Well, Call of Duty just came out. The game is half of the game that it used to be. And what it showed to them was, well, we can make less of a game, sell just as many copies, and people are fine with it, and they still make the same amount of money. So that's what's happening here. This is why they're like, hey, let's open up another studio, and let's pump out more stuff for Call of Duty. If this is them taking, maybe they're working on more cosmetics, maybe they're working on separate game modes, maybe they're working on whatever they're doing, okay? They opened up a new studio because they're making bank. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What do you think this new Infinity Ward studio is doing in Austin, Texas? Do you think they're working on actual game modes? Do you think they're working on just assets and stuff inside Infinity Ward of Call of Duty? And it is kind of weird that all these layoffs that are happening left and right in the studios, yet Infinity Ward is opening up a brand new studio, even though Microsoft let go of 12,000 people within the company itself. Let me know in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. I think people will know Soundwave because of Reactivate. I mean, I think people know Transformers because Transformers is still, like, relevant. I mean, yeah, there's a He-Man show that came out recently, but most kids nowadays are not watching He-Man. There's 11 studios? No, well, there's 4 major studios that work on Call of Duty Creature. That's what I just said. 4 major. Yeah. Yeah, because you got like High Moon and Vicarious Visions, but isn't Vicarious? Did they close them down and merge them into something else? I don't know if we know that stat yet, Water. I don't know if we know the sales number. Yeah, they just basically folded that company and merged them in. It's Treyarch, Sledgehammer Games, Raven Studios, and Infinity Ward. Those are the main ones, Mo. You forgot Raven. AI will take care of the support studios. That's right. How can you have that many studios working on an ass game like Modern Warfare 3? Well, all 4 studios didn't work on Region. They didn't all work on Modern Warfare 3, right? It's one studio working on that game. So this is how they go every single year. So like Treyarch comes out one year, then Sledgehammer comes out with this, and then Raven, works on the Warzone, and then it's a Treyarch, Sledgehammer, and then Infinity Ward. It's sort of like the way Rare does the updates for Sea of Thieves. They have 4 teams within the studio, right? Small 4 teams, and every time they come up with an expansion, that's who's working on it. And they're in like rotation. So technically, because there's 3, Treyarch, Sledgehammer, and Infinity Ward, if Infinity Ward comes out, let's say in 2024, right? And then Treyarch comes out in 2025, and then Sledgehammer comes out in 2026. They're on a 3-year cycle. Or a 2-year cycle. Because the next time Infinity War would come back around, if they made 2024, they would skip 2025 and 2026. They would come back 2027. Ron says Modern Warfare 3 is nominated for Best DLC of 2023. It would be the category of best game that's not a game. Best game that's not a game. Do we know? I don't think they have the Modern Warfare 3. Modern Warfare 3... Call of Duty 2, Modern Warfare 3, developed jointly by Infinity War and Sledgehammer Games. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 has a massive commercial success. It sold 6.5 million copies just in the first 24 hours. And as of 2020, it was exploded into sales. Oh no, is this the original Modern Warfare 3? No. Oh no. Yeah. 6.5 million copies in the first 24 hours. Right? That is a huge success for a game. Now think about this, right? Yeah, they didn't sell 20 million copies yet. Maybe they won't, right? But 6.5 million copies for a DLC at full price, and they made bank. When I focus, it's so intense. I thought my screen froze. Oh, when I stand still. Just kidding. Do the PlayStation 5 bundles count for those? I believe so. Yeah. Anytime you sell a game with the system, they basically take that cost and put it in. So, for instance, one of the best-selling albums of all time is a YouTube album that was sold on an iPod back in the day. Back in like 2003, 2004. Every iPod that sold had the YouTube album already on it, and that counted as a sale for the album. Same with the Switch. Not the Switch. Nintendo Wii. When the Wii Sports came with the Nintendo Wii, it was one of the best-selling games of all time. Yeah, 82 million copies sold. 82 million copies sold because either people bought it or it came bundled with the actual Wii Sports or with the Wii. Did you see what happened to the Apex Legend player? I have not. Redfall seems to be fixed now. Hearing good things. I'm not going to go back to it for at least until 1 year's time. It came out in what, April, May? I think we'll go back to Redfall to see what once they fix it. It's better, but it's not completely fixed yet, Ron. I think the first Super Mario Brothers game is in the same way. The greatest selling games. It came packaged with the NES. I don't know if... I don't think it's sold as many as you think. How many copies has Mario sold? As of March of 2022, I mean, it says the video game franchise as a whole has 830 million units sold. Super Mario Brothers is the second most successful game in the franchise, having sold an estimated 40.24 million copies. So there you go. So was it a streamer or just a player? His account got banned for writing STFU in the chat. Okay, has no access to any EA titles, including ones he's purchased. What was the context? Maybe STFU doesn't mean what we think it means. Maybe it's super thanks, fun ultimately. Maybe that's what it is. I mean, maybe he could fight it. He's like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I don't even know what STF you stand for. Well, the guy who got banned from EA was a multiple incident offender. Let's be clear. They didn't one-time pop him. Do free-to-play downloads count as sales? Free-to-play... Well, all things count for sales, right? So nothing's free, right? Nothing's free. So if a radio station gives out concert tickets, or let's say, let's do an example of this, The Marvels, okay? The original movie, Captain Marvel, gave a bunch of tickets out at the radio stations as giveaways, okay? Well, Disney, because they give those tickets away, they count those as sales, okay? They have to write them as a book as loss, but as sales. Same thing. So if it's a free code or something, they count those as sales as well. Yeah, exactly, Clio. Super team, fun, unlimited. Yeah. He'd be like, I don't know what you guys are... Why did I get banned? I just put super team fun, unlimited. Come on, Silent. Modern Warfare 2 lobbies on Xbox 360 were brutal back in the day. No. SOCOM. The original brutal. If you played SOCOM on the PlayStation back in the day, whew, I think that's might have, I mean, the vulgarness that used to come out of that lobby. Yeah, I don't know. It would be a hard choice. A lot of people, I would like to know, right? Do you guys, when you play multiplayer, and a lot of you guys are older, but I'd like to know, when you play a multiplayer game for the first time, do you keep your mic open or do you just mute everybody? Kylo says those lobbies built character. Creature says depends on the game, depends. You guys haven't heard anything, okay? Until you put a VR headset on and go into until you go into the public domain and listen to the people that say shit in there. Holy Christ. I've never muted something so fast in my entire life. I was like, what's happening? I was like, what is happening? Well, the funny part with the VR, though, Travis, is that you get more squeakers than anything else, which I find very interesting. I don't care what people say. They keep the sound on. Did you guys remember when I played, what was it? Starship Troopers? That shit was hilarious. That shit was hilarious. When I played Starship Troopers on stream, which we might do next week. We might do because they had a couple updates. Man, the open mics for that thing was hilarious. Right, Creature. That's what I was very shocked about. I walked into one of the, local, I guess, public areas in the VR, and almost every person that was playing, and I was playing, I would say around like 10:30 at night, it was squeakers, man. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, what's happening right now? Starship Troopers was hilarious, Lurker. It was either talking about people's nutsacks. What else were they talking about? Dick talk is all the rage. I was like, what is happening? I played Rogue Company with a guy playing service in the background, super loud. The worst. Look, I'll take a curse word. Okay, I'll take vulgar language over someone eating a bag of chips and a dog barking with that. You know what irritates me when people have an open mic? The goddamn beep. They're like, yeah, I was just hanging out playing with it, beep. And you're like, do you have to change your battery in your fire detector? And they're like, what? No, that's not me. Right? Beep. And you're like, dude, you have a fire detector that needs a battery change. They're like, nope, I don't know what you mean. They've played with it for so long that they don't even hear it anymore. Yeah, squeakers are young kids. Kids that haven't gone through puberty yet, where their voices are super, super high pitched. You can't tell if it's a little kid or a girl or whatever. I like how Kylo said it. Yeah, kids with balls still up high. I was wondering if you were a squeaker. Yeah, I'm a squeaker. I'll tell you what. If a kid was like, "Yo, bro, I'm 5 years old," I'd be like, I gotta go. I always call them girls. Makes them furious. You just call them sweetie. Hey, sweetie, can you get that flag for me? Dude, I'm a kid. Uh-huh. Okay. Run along, little girl. Don't be rude. Maybe it's Sam Elliott's kid with that deep voice. I'm 8 years old. Yeah, sweetie, muffin. That's good, creature. Maybe I'll do that next time. Oh wow, you're really good for a girl. I'm not a girl. I mean, I would run with it. I mean, you're really good. I've never seen a girl play this good before. I learned something new today, squeakers. You've never heard of squeakers, Chief? Really? I mean, it's been around since, it's got to be 25 years. Since the internet, playing online. I mean, it is, Kylo. It is. Like, squeaker is the universal term. Like, if I did this, right? That's the universal jerk-off sign, right? Either that or you're rolling dice, right? Right? If I say squeaker, that's the universal term for young kids playing video games. Yeah. I mean, that's just every clan, hey, ever. No squeakers allowed. That's right. My name, 30 and Still Gaming, is literally based off of I don't want any squeakers. That's literally how my name got made. I was tired of playing with people that were younger than the age of 30. So at 29 years old, I made a LFG called 30 and Still Gaming. And then when I started streaming, I used the name. That is literally the reason the name is 30 and Still Gaming. Because I could not take playing with kids. That's right. The whole thing is like anti-squeaker. Kylo says I'm 28. Yeah, no, it's more of a if you're more mature, because I have people that have been watching me since they were like 17 and now they're 26. Kylo, there's people that are 40 years old that act like they're 5, so you're okay. I feel awkward listening to Mike talk about squeakers. Like awkward, like you're a one dude in a park of children. Is that what you're like? Awkwardness. I get that feeling. I get that feeling, Z. When I take my son to the park, and then I sit on the bench, and then all the moms stare at me because you see this face. I feel you. You feel awkward. What happened to the topic? Topic's done. We're going to the next topic. Travis, do you want to do a show? By all means, boot up. Go live. Talk about whatever you want. Robert Jones says the moms aren't trying to pick you up. No, because the moms are usually not the ones taking their kids to the park. It's usually the nannies. I found that out early as a stay-at-home dad. And there's like these clicks that happen, Jones. there's like these cliques that happen. It's worse than high school. So I don't know if any of you guys are stay-at-home dads and stuff out there, but when I started being a stay-at-home dad 9 years ago, one, there was like barely any changing tables in the bathrooms, right? And then when I would take my son to a park or we go to like the science center or go anywhere, I was the only dad, like the only dad. Okay, so you would see all these moms, and I was like, all these moms are here, you know. But it was weird the way they were acting. And then I found out because all of them knew each other. And I was like, oh, they must. But they're all nannies. Right? They're all nannies. So they all like hang out with each other and they shun everybody else. So like they wouldn't let my kid play with them because I wasn't in their circle. I was like, man, this is worse than fucking high school. Do people still have nannies? Yes. Oh, I used to get really creative on the way I would change my son in the bathrooms. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. But going back to what you asked, Jones, would the moms pick you up? No, but what happens is, for some reason, adults hate me, but animals and children love me. So I will literally be at the park with my son, and little kids come running up to me, and they start talking to me. And I'm more than happy to, you know, talk and whatnot. But in my head, I'm like, oh, boy, I'm on a list now. I'm on a list now. I'm like, get away from me, kid. Right? Because when my son walks away from me, I'm just a dude at the park. It's like I'm Santa Claus. They come up to me. They start talking to me. Like, want to play? I'm like, no, you need to go away. And then I start looking for my son. I'm like, where is he? That's very true, Travis. Okay, 30 is suspected sitting alone. No, I try not to sit at the benches. I walk around. I walk around wherever my son is. I'm about like 30 feet from him. Yeah, it's a very, very awkward experience. All right. Speaking of awkward experiences, let's talk about The Last of Us Part 2 remake. The nerve of nannies? Garrett, I don't care. They can judge all they want. I hated high school because of the judginess, and in my years of experience, I actually don't even care. I think it's hilarious. All right, let's talk about this. Yeah, Z, it's a weird look. It's a weird look. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of 30 NSG. If you like what we do here, please sure you hit that like button down below. Today's topic is Kotaku asks, how soon is too soon for video game remasters or remakes? When should developers go back and remaster and remake their most popular games? So, how much time has to have passed before it becomes acceptable to remaster or even remake a game? 10 years? 15 years? What about 3-ish years? Is that enough time between the original and the remaster? Well, what's happening earlier next year is Naughty Dog is remastering 2020's Last of Us Part 2. It says, let's back up real fast in case you missed the news last week. The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered leaked online. Shortly afterwards, Naughty Dog confirmed the game was real and it would release on January 19th, 2024. After the leak, it was also official confirmation that Naughty Dog, there was also, of course, excitement of Last of Us fans, which were probably more than today than ever before, thanks to the HBO show, who couldn't wait for the re-experience of critically acclaimed sequel. But there was also a lot of people who weren't sure if this game needed to be remastered. Others question if this was even a traditional remaster or just a next-gen upgrade. Things got murky, and Naughty Dog revealed that the owners of The Last of Us Part 2 on PlayStation 4 spent $10 to upgrade your remastered version of PlayStation 5. It's a little weird. Okay. Let's assume a moment that the remaster game is not just an upgrade, which is how Naughty Dog and Sony are marketing it. The game's recent release does beg the question of how soon we need video game remasters. I don't think anybody outside is persuaded by who deny the popular games from the 90s or even the early 2000s deserve a fancy remaster, but a game from the 2020 being remastered in 2023 seems too soon. Then again, it seems impossible to set specific time requirements for a remaster or remake, and unrelated, trying to defend or define those terms in 2023 is getting harder and harder to do. So, should remasters only happen a decade or more after the original game's launch? Then what would mean EA or BioWare jumped the gun in 2012's Mass Effect 3, which was partially remastered as part of 2021's Legendary Edition, but also even a remaster is also the factor other than simply passage of time that should be considered. In the case of, for instance, the technical leap between Xbox 360 game and the Xbox One/Xbox Series X/S game seems large enough to warrant a touch-up in a comparison of the PlayStation 4 game being remastered for PlayStation 5. Doesn't seem as necessary. Though, I imagine diehard fans longing for better-looking versions of Last of Us Part 2 would disagree. So, we leave it up to you in the comments below. Tell us what you think. Is Last of Us Part 2 remastered happening too soon or not, and why in the feeling that way? Let me give you my thoughts, okay? My thoughts is that, I talked about this yesterday a little bit with the Knights of the Old Republic remake being dead, right? I don't like remasters and remakes. And I know this is my opinions. I know people in the comment section are typing away. They're like, well, you're wrong. And that's fine, right? I don't like remasters or remakes because I just go play the other game. Graphics to me are not the one-all be-all, okay? Some of my favorite games of all time are some of the crappiest graphics, but the gameplay and everything about it, the story is so good, I don't need to have it fresh with brand new graphics to play it again. I do believe that even I called it out when Mass Effect did it, and Mass Effect 2 is one of, if not the favorite game of mine in my entire life of playing games, and I've been playing games since I was 3 years old. So for 42 years, Mass Effect 2 is one of my favorite games of all time, okay? And it took me till 2011 to play it, and even the remaster that came out with the Legendary Edition or whatever, okay? I didn't play it. I don't want to play it because I have the game, okay? I don't need to go out and buy it again. I don't need a remastered of it. I think when companies are going to make remasters and remakes, Naughty Dog has made a lot of games, okay? Why not remake or remaster some of your Uncharted games? Nope. They want to do a game that just came out 3 years ago. And to me, this shows that there's really nothing in the pipeline, and they had to make something. They're like, well, what can we do to make this up? And we can make a quick $10 off people. Now, obviously, if you own the game, you pay $10, you get an upgrade. It's not a big deal, right? But if you don't own the game, then you have to pay, you're buying the next version of or whatnot. But 3 years to me is a little too soon. I think 10 years. I think even in the article when they say 10, 15 years, I think minimum 10 years. Now, obviously, Grand Theft Auto, right, has been out for over 10 years now, or at 10 years now, okay? Could they come out with, wouldn't that be a kicker? Instead of coming out with Grand Theft Auto 6, they just come out with Grand Theft Auto 5 remastered. That would be a kick in the nuts, okay? But even then, I think that's a little too soon. Certain games I don't think need to be refreshed because the graphics are so good, right? Like if they made Battlefront 2, we just talked about this yesterday, Battlefront 2 with the photorealism of the graphics. If they remastered the Battlefront 2 game, would anything change? No, because they're so good with graphics. If you made a remaster of it, it wouldn't look anything different. So I'm okay with remasters. I don't like remakes. The difference between a remake and a remaster is remaster, you're just taking an old movie that's grainy and whatnot, and you're redoing it to bring it up to like 4K, okay? And a video game, you're upping. But a remake, you're literally changing characters. You're changing stuff. It's sort of like what Marvel does with movies, where you're taking characters that was a guy, now putting it as a girl. Or, you know what I mean? They're like swapping and changing things fundamentally that just change the whole character. I don't like remakes. Okay, remasters I'm okay with, but I don't partake in it because I own that original game. Now, I totally get there's a world where people never own that game and they can't buy the old system. No one's going to go out if you want to play Mass Effect and go buy the old 360 and then play it, and then buy it. That's very minute. So I get it. You want to play Mass Effect, you never played Mass Effect, they did an upgrade version for the remaster, cool. Remake, no. Remaster, fine. But let me know what you think in the comments section down below. What is that time frame of remasters? Can it be 2 years, 3 years? Or does it have to be 10 to 15 years and a couple of consoles apart? Let me know in the comment section down below. These are just my thoughts. Let me know yours, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. Let me see what you guys are saying in chat. Garrett says, The Last of Us 2 Remastered is basically just a director's cut of a $10 upgrade. Not a big deal. Yeah, I don't think... I'm not putting fingers on Last of Us 2. We're talking about, in general, remasters and remakes, right? This is definitely a cash grab, Water says. I haven't played any of them. Heard good things, though. Travis says, yet still $10 more than the trash of Last of Us 2 is worth. Creature says, don't know about the cash grab. I imagine there was a push from HBO funding on this, seeing the success of the show. Yeah, but why couldn't they just promote it again, right? Game's still there. I'm confused. I'm asking. I'm not making fun. I'm confused on PlayStation fans. Like, I'm just confused. And Sony knows they're fans, right? I mean, they're selling them a device that you're just playing your games on a bigger screen, and you're putting it on a smaller screen, and you can't get on the internet, right? And they're buying it. I get it, but I don't get it, right? I really feel like Sony knows how that Sony fans will literally buy anything, and you can say that's bad or good, but Sony knows their clientele, and the clientele is gonna pick up whatever they throw down. Paul says it's not just a great for the devs team, who for the last 4 years have only been doing this. It's true. Rose says, I think it's perfect timing for some people that didn't own a PlayStation 4, so this may be their first time playing it. Also version of the new level and the whole new Rogue-like mode, and just $10. Right, well, it's $10 if you already own it, Rose. It's not $10 if you didn't own it. Like, right now, if you've never played the game before, you could go buy the used copy at GameStop right now, okay? And because you buy a used copy, then you pay an extra $10, and then you get this upgrade for $10. Where if you go out and buy this version of itself, you're paying a full price of $70, which is kind of weird, right? The remake I'm waiting for is Black Flag, either remake or sequel. There's always going to do this. This has nothing to do with what else is going on with Naughty Dog. Yeah. Me talking about the article has nothing to do with Last of Us, besides that it's a remake too soon. The conversation is remaster, remake, what's the time frame, right? Is it too soon to make a remaster or not? People in chat are starting to branch off into, PlayStation does this or whatnot. So if you don't own the regular version, you can just buy the version for $10, or would you need to buy the full game outright? You got to buy the full game outright. So if you go get a used copy, which there are plenty of, Water, then pay $10 to upgrade, you're okay. I buy a Battlefront 2 remaster right now. Yeah, but it doesn't need to be remastered. What would change? Nothing would change. I do enjoy good games, but The Last of Us isn't so I tried to do this of Resident Evil Lives. They're just getting ready to do The Last of Us 2, just like they did with The Last of Us Season 1, with Part 1 remake. Smash TV remake. I don't know if I would get a remake. If you remaster, Travis, if you remaster a Smash TV, I think that would be okay. But a remake means that you're changing it and taking you're taking design liberties of changing whatever it is. You know what I mean? The problem is not with remaster itself. The fact that Factions is on ice and the dev team has done nothing new this generation. I mean, this generation's only 3 years old, right? They still got time to make something for this system, exclusively for the system. Also, I think the remaster is the same as Spider-Man Remaster, released in 2018 remaster, so it was native on PlayStation 5 version. Oh no, that's a completely different thing. The reason they did the remaster for Spider-Man, and I know people don't want to hear this, is because Miles Morales is not as popular. And to sell Miles Morales, they had to bundle it, right? It was $50 for Miles Morales, and it wasn't a full game, hence why they made it $50, okay? Even though they were making $70 games at that point when they announced it. And then they said, Spider-Man Remaster, let's put it with it. And they had to upgrade to give that extra incentive of picking it up. So $70 for Spider-Man Remastered and Miles Morales was a hell of a deal, was a fantastic deal. But Miles Morales by itself, which we know only sold 6.5 million copies, okay, just doesn't sell as well. I had a video about that a couple weeks ago. We got 78 versions of Last of Us, but can't get a single fucking SOCOM. Well, I mean, how many times did Skyrim come out? Like 4 or 5 times? 6 times? Paul says PlayStation has had a single new IP this generation. Xbox has had 3 this year alone. What do you mean? They had Ratchet and Clank. That was a new IP. Well, oh, not a new IP, but a new for the system. They've had plenty for the system. I don't want a remake. I don't want a remake. I'll take a remaster. That's a difference. Zero Horizon is getting a remaster also? Is it? Do you know what that does for me? I don't want to buy your game, because if I'm buying your game at launch, means I'm getting the inferior version of it. For me. Right? If I know you're making... If I bought Spider-Man, then you made Spider-Man Remaster. I bought Last of Us, you make a Last of Us Remaster. I make Last of Us 2 and you buy a remaster. I'm not going to buy your games at launch anymore. Right? Now, I don't own Last of Us 2. I own Last of Us 1, Spider-Man 1, God of War 1, because I have a PlayStation 4. But I'm not going to buy your games when they come out, because you're conditioning me now to know that your game that you come out, 3 years ago is going to get remastered within the next 3 to 5 years, and I'll buy it then, and it'll be a better version. Change the subject to Hogwarts Remastered. Do they look that much different? I saw a trailer, Mo, and they look almost exactly the same. But of course they would, because it literally just came out. Eclipse says, I'm sorry, but this should be a free upgrade for people that own it and shouldn't be $70 if you buy it. It should be about $50 at least. I might say $40. Most games, this is just a patch. Well, how much? Let me go to. You could pick a Last of Us copy up right now. Okay. And you can save money. I mean, you can get the PlayStation 4 edition, pay $10, right? Or you can get the $50 edition. And pay $10 and you get it for $60, right? And this is part of buy two get one pre-owned. So if you buy this and something else, you get another one. Most people don't know that there's a secret end to Starfield. You fall asleep, then you wake up in a wagon, and hey, you finally wake. Yeah, Starfield leads right into Skyrim. Lorca says I played Horizon Forbidden West first, went back to the Horizon Zero Dawn. It was unplayable. If you remade Horizon Zero Dawn with all the quality of life updates, I would buy it day one. That's a good point, but that also goes to my point, Lurker. I don't want to buy your games at launch anymore. You're incentivizing me not to buy because if I wait a couple years, sure, people play it and I can get ruined and spoiled. But if I don't hang out in those circles, then I'll be okay, right? And by the time I'm old, and I'll forget the ending anyway, right? I don't want to buy something day one anymore. One, I don't buy a lot of the stuff day one because most games come out broke, buggy, unfinished, and you have to wait 6, 8, 12, 18 months before it gets fixed. But now, the way PlayStation's going, I don't own a PlayStation 5, but by the time I get a PlayStation 5, all their games will be remastered, and I'll pick them up at a discounted rate, and they'll be a better game they were before they, than they originally launched. Vandal says, The Last of Us 2 Remastered is this soon is obvious shameless cash grab, in my opinion. Paul says, Sony's first party has had a single new IP. Never said none. JG from Space, this is the first time players, fans of the TV series, if they play The Last of Us 1 Remastered, it's weird to go to Last of Us 2 with worse graphics. They're just bringing it up to par with Remaster 1. Is Last of Us Remastered better graphics than Last of Us 2? I don't think that's true. I mean, you have a point, but I don't think that's true. I want to try to get to a nice bright spot here if I can. Okay, now let's bring up... I'm trying to find another daylight spot. Okay. So let me bring this up. No way. Not even close. Not even close. This is Last of Us Remastered, and this is Last of Us 2. Not even close. It's like night and day. Yeah, just wait and get all the remasters for like $20 a pop. Good Papa says, look at the last year PlayStation 5 Slim shameless cash grab, Portals, shameless cash grab, Last of Us remake, shameless cash grab. It's a theme right now with Sony. I don't know if it's shameless cash grabs. I think I just think they're extending, you know, they're stretching out where they can make the money. Like, this is The Last of Us Remastered. And you look at these graphics and look at the skin, like, look at the characters, and then look at this. Not even close. So even if they were picking up this and then they can't go play this, the remaster is... If they remastered this would look even better, wouldn't it? Last of Us Part 1 is better graphics than remastered. So you're saying if I look up the graphics for the regular one, it'd be better graphics? All right, well, let's look. I don't want remastered. I want the standalone game. Okay. I'm gonna try to get the... So you think that the graphics here are better than this, and people are saying that this is better than this? Stretching out their money, shameless cash grab. All right. Saint says sometimes remasters doesn't mean anything except that it now works on the system. I don't know. I mean, that's literally the same scene almost. The remastered is better looking than this. And there's no way that this even competes with Last of Us 2 the way it looks. Not even close. When you make people buy something that's originally includes the make hardware and basically pointless, where the iPad can do more than it. Yeah, shameless cash grab for me. I want a Metal Gear Solid 4 remastered. The real point of this is to put it on the PC because most people will pay full price for the PC because they don't have it. The difference isn't even more than you play the game and you're not watching YouTube videos. The difference is even more when you play the game and not watching YouTube videos. Yeah, but you're okay. Based on that, though, if I play the remaster on my television set, and I get what you're saying, because a lot of people say that Starfield didn't look good, but when I looked at Starfield on my television set, it looks much better than what you see on TV, and I get that. But if I look at the Last of Us remastered and I see it on YouTube, you're telling me the remaster version is going to look better than Last of Us 2. So wouldn't The Last of Us 2 look even better on my television set if the remaster version looks better on my television set? No, I agree with you. The Last of Us Remaster was made on PlayStation 4 because it was impossible to play the PlayStation 3 version using the backwards compatibility. I was okay with that. Well, that's right. It originally came out on the 3, didn't it? What do you think Xbox is about to spend the next few years doing with the Activision Blizzard IPs? I think they're just going to release them, Creature. I don't think they're going to do anything. I think they're going to take most of those IPs and throw them on Game Pass as is. You're talking about old franchises that he's talked about of making games. Like, what are they passionate about, right? But most of those IPs, you think they're going to redo Transformers Fall of Cybertron? You think they're going to take Ultimate Alliance and redo those? They ain't doing that. They're going to take those IPs that they have and just throw them onto Game Pass. I don't think they do anything. Oh, you mean older shit than that? Sure. Sure, but at the same time, there's a little difference what you're comparing there, though, right? You're taking what PlayStation owns, and they literally just did a remake of something that was 3 years old, and then a company that literally just bought a whole bunch of IPs and now putting them on their system. There's a big difference. They didn't own these IPs, and now they do. So now because they own them, they can now upgrade them to do what they want. And the time frame of remakes or whatever, even if they're like 20, 30 years old, then what's the difference, right? What's the big deal? Those are 30 years old IPs where PlayStation literally just made a remake of a game that was 3 years ago. Well, I'm sorry, a remaster. I think 10 years. I think 10 years is a good time. I do. If you want to make a game that's 10 years ago and you want to remake it, I think that's fine. For the people that want to, because, I mean, 10 years, man. If a person's 10 years old, 10 years from now, they'll be 20 years old. And then maybe they did, at 10 years old, they didn't play a game. And now at 20, they're like, oh, you know what? I'll pick up that game. I'm okay with 10 years. 3, not so much. Yeah, I don't understand why SOCOM. Obviously, SOCOM, it's got to be some, I don't know if it's the licensing or some sort of issue. I don't know why they don't make a SOCOM game. I'm assuming that SOCOM didn't sell very well back then, and they kind of look at it and go, will it sell now? Let's see. Yeah. Combined sales of SOCOM releases reached 3.9 million units in the United States on July of 2006. The game was sold 2 million copies by November of 2003 and 3.5 million copies by 2005. So, three point 3.9 million copies sold. That's why they haven't made that game. They could literally sell more if they sold SOCOM to Game Pass and they got $200 million for it. SOCOM 2 game sold more than 1 million copies by March of 2004 and then 2.5 million copies by May of 2005. SOCOM 3, they don't even have they don't even have it. Yeah, it doesn't sell well. That's exactly why they're not making SOCOM. The most they make from it is like 3 million copies. That's true, Paul. I will agree with that. SOCOM was a fantastic game, but it was also one of the first games to play online like that. Right? It was ahead of its time. Yeah, Paul came out today. He's like, let me get my fingers ready. Creature said you'll live to regret agreeing with him on anything. I think now if you bring SOCOM, here's the problem with any kind of like game like that. Okay. There is so many first person, third person, battle royale, competitive type games that SOCOM would come out and it would flop so hard. It would flop so hard. Yeah, same with Killzone. I looked up Killzone. Yeah, dude. Both those franchises suffered big time back then. There's no way they would be competitive now. No way they would be competitive. Massive would be a good fit. Shit, you can't even see anything on this. This is like dark night map here. You know what SOCOM's only hope is? Someone make a mod of it in Fortnite. That's it. That's the only way SOCOM would be popular. If it was a game mode within another game itself. It's too competitive now, man. $11,000 people. They don't need the largest player base. They need people that would play and pay. Technical SOCOM Battle Royale would be good. It would just be another game in a mix of all other games. Look, I would love to see SOCOM come back, right? I absolutely love SOCOM. But in this day and age, man, you need to compete with the other guys. And if you can't break into that, 11,000 play an old title, more than enough? Yeah, more than enough to play an old title. But if you're only getting 11,000 people playing a brand new game, that's awful. Yeah, 11,000. Like, okay, here I'll show you. Let me see. Let me bring this up. I forget how many people are playing. How do you look that up right now? Do they have a count on this? Okay, this is a game that doesn't exist anymore. That people made the server, Star Wars Galaxies Legends. Okay. Unique people, 5,809, which being run by players, you're like, this is amazing, right? 5,000 people are playing this game right now? It's amazing. But if this was a full-fledged company that came out with a game, and they're like, this is it, baby, Star Wars Galaxy Legends, it came out and only 5,000, 6,000 people are playing, that is dead on arrival. That is dead on arrival. There's a difference between like I love Star Wars Galaxies, okay? But I'm not delusional of going, man, like, speaking of a game that's not supported by the actual companies and it's being run by players, and you're like, that's impressive. But if that was a full-fledged company, like Epic had it or Sony had it again, and there's only 6,000 people, that shit's starting on Friday, closing on Saturday. Like, that's done. Close it. I'm saying because you have so much interest in the old title, it should indicate how well the new game would sell. Even if there was 30,000 people that were like super interested in the game, right? Those 30,000 people, when they came over, let's just say at the peak, it hit 100,000 people because it was the brand new first person shooter or third person shooter game that came out. Everyone's like, well, I'm playing Fortnite, well, I'm playing Tarkov, I'm playing Rainbow Six, I'm playing all these other things. Let's stop playing these games to go check out this game. And they go, I'm okay. And everyone's like, oh man, I love SOCOM. And that's the 30,000 people that play. They go, nope, this is not successful. How much development time they would have to put in to see what it is, to get out of it? Someone said that Skyrim has more players than Starfield and ignored what the other platforms had. Massive lie, because they ignored the information to push false premise. Well, they're talking about more players than Starfield on Steam. Is not what they talked about, Okuda Papa? Perfect example, Vandal. That's a good example. Folks wanted the new Left 4 Dead and see what happened to Back 4 Blood. Exactly. Exactly. How many players does a game need to not be dead? It all depends on what it is. If you have a multiplayer game, if you have a multiplayer shooter, Jones, and you don't have a consistent, like for instance, if I get into a server and it takes 10 minutes to get into a server and there's only 10 versus 10, that game's dying. That game is dead. If I can't fill a full server in a 64-man match, that's a problem. Okay? Now, if it's a game like Halo where you're going 10v10, it's not as bad because the servers feel full and whatnot, right? And based on the people, it all depends on how much people are in 2023, how many people are spending money. That's it. How many people are buying the battle pass? How many people are getting a skin? Because you got to remember, back in the day, they would just make a game, sell a game. Meaning once they make that game and sell that game, nobody is working on that game. Meaning if it cost $100 million to make that game, and it launched, that was it. It cost $100 million to make that game. Then they went to work on DLC. Now with the live service game, it cost them $100 million to put the game out. It costs another, I don't know, $50,000 a month to keep it running. Then they're also paying the people to make the cosmetics and make the other things. Then there's people still updating the game, so they're still paying their salaries after the point, right? So they're still getting their weekly paychecks and whatnot. So that price blows up, and if they can't get the people to come in to spend that extra money on the development cycle, then they're like, yeah, no, we got to close this. All this is pointless, so we all know Battlefront 3 will be out next year. I think they're going to make an announcement, Battlefront 3. Everyone says that they're not working on Battlefront 3. I guarantee you they're working on a Battlefront 3. All these games that are online, they got to pay for server space. So to them, they have to keep making the money. If it's a single-player game and there's 100 people playing the game, who cares? It's a single-player game. I'm one of those people. I don't think we get a Battlefront 3. Battlefront 3 on the new Frostbite engine would be sick. I've already did, Travis. We talked about it over a year and a half ago. with all the Star Wars games, and the reason I think they're making a Battlefront 3, with all the Star Wars games that they licensed out to people, and they want a big launch and a smaller launch every year for the next 6 years. And we know about the quantum what's that one? Quantum Dream? Is that what they're called? Yeah, Quantum Dream. They're making a game, right? Then you got Massive that's making a Star Wars game, then which is Outlaws. Then we know there's a Respawn Star Wars game being made, and it's multiplayer. Okay. There needs to be like 3 more big Star Wars games that we know of. Who's making Battlefront 3? It could be DICE or it could be Respawn. I'm actually happy, Chapter 8, that they killed it. It wasn't a remaster, it was a remake. I didn't want a remake. I didn't want them to change. There was stories that they were going to change the actual story, and I was like, I don't want them to change the story. Knights of the Old Republic's one of the best story-driven games. It's definitely not Respawn. They're already making a Star Wars shooter. Yes, they are making a Star Wars shooter. And do you know what that Star Wars shooter is? It could be Battlefront 3. It's a multiplayer Star Wars shooter. Now, maybe it's not Battlefront 3 because Battlefront is owned by EA. Who knows? Correct, 8. That's what I'm saying. They wanted to remake it, and there was a story we did like a year and a half ago that the writer on it was a writer. I forget what she worked on, but she wanted to change the characters and change the story. And I was like, why? Why don't you just go make a brand new game and change the character, like make new characters? But she wanted to change the actual characters. I said, if you're going to make Knights of the Old Republic, then just remaster it. Do not remake it. Yeah, they could do a Republic Commando, but I really want them to make a different game. Like if they were making Battlefront 3, it's a next sequel type of thing, right? They're not making a remake of the game, right? If they make Republic Commando, it's just a remake of a game. Agreed, Dave. Knights of the Republic story is perfect, and it doesn't need to be remaked, right? You want to remaster it? Sure. Yeah, I think the story that we read was like for the modern day. It's like, why do I care about the modern day when Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic takes place like not even in our galaxy? I hate it, man. I hate it. Like, stop putting our shit in there. If you want to be inspired by something, sure, but don't put our stuff in that galaxy. People read that stuff and go watch those things to get away from our galaxy. Chapter 8 says, I'm super disappointed in the new Star Wars games. I don't like multiplayer, so Battlefront isn't really for me long term. Jedi is fun, but too linear. Outlaws is open world, but can't make my own character. Oh, so there's always like something missing from what you want, right? Did you ever play Star Wars The Old Republic, the MMO? You can make your own character there. Good story there. It could be linear, it could be open world for you, all depending on what missions and stuff that you do. I think they just changed it as well, where I think it's like free to play now. I don't think Outlaws is the Star Wars open world like No Man's Sky. I think Outlaws, the way I've seen it, is like Red Dead Redemption, but with Star Wars. No, I've been playing it for off and on for like 3-4 years. And you could play all single players since I've been playing. Like, there is other stuff, but you could be playing single player majority. Exactly. If I want to play a cowboy shooter, I'll go back to Red Dead Redemption 2. No, but when I say Red Dead Redemption, I meant like it's more of a open world game, your character, right? Same type of game. Not really like a Western, but where you can go what you want, interact with people. It's been free to play since 2012. If people want to play them, I don't think it's been free to play since 2012, has it? But I know the single player stuff. Great single player story. Roadkill. He'll be back. He'll be back. Oh, I guess it has gone free to play since 2012. Yeah. Anyone that can play the story content from levels 1 through 60 completely free. I stand corrected. Yes, it's not a force ability, which I kind of agree with you. I kind of agree because I'm one of the people in the Star Wars universe that I watch Star Wars because I want Jedi in it, right? But we don't know if the character is going to have abilities or not down the road, but I hope not, because then it puts a wrench, because if the games are canon within the realm of Star Wars, then it would put a wrench in, it would mess up a lot of things if she's getting another Jedi that's out in the world, you know? Like, see, the one thing I look at Outlaws and go, why make a new character? Why don't you just make me Han Solo? And then I'm Han Solo in that realm, because it takes place between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And yes, they want to tell different stories and whatnot, but I think it would have been cooler if they gave us Han Solo and Chewie instead of Kay Vess, I think your name is. Without space magic, what do we have? Since it's called Outlaws, do you think there's more than one playable outlaw? I don't. I think Outlaws represents like her and her crew. or you'll come across other outlaws in the game, but I don't think you'll be able to use them. You're tired of space wizards? Well, just like you said before, Travis, about if you're playing Pandora and you don't want first person, then don't play it. If Star Wars comes out with space wizards and you're tired of playing it, then don't play it. It's the same exact thing. Exactly, 8. That's exactly why I got into Star Wars, right? Give me space wizards. Right? I'm a person that argues all the time. Everyone's like, I like this because it doesn't have Jedi, and they should change it because it doesn't have Jedi. I'm like, if you don't want Jedi, then don't watch Star Wars, because Star Wars is about Jedis and Siths and space magic and swords. That's what it is. Go watch Star Trek. I'm not saying they're no Jedi, but just give me something, some smugglers to break it up. All I'm saying is if they choose to stick with space wizards, that's what it is. Or Firefly for one season. That's right. There are so many better IPs if you want into his more Western vibe and space smuggler, space realism vibe. Star Wars was only ever interesting because of the Force setting it apart. Exactly. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. we get this conversation. I'm going to go down there, okay? Everyone's like, I love Rogue One. Rogue One is so good because of, right? And what everyone remembers about that movie is Danny Yang, right? No, Danny, what's his name? I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me. What was this character? What's the actor's name? Yeah, it's Danny Yang, right? I forget the character's name. Anyway, the two best parts in that is his character and the Vader scene. Donnie Yen. Yen. Yeah, thank you. Right? And I'm like, the movie's great. I like Rogue One. But it's not Star Wars. It's not Star Wars. If Star Wars was redone, like you get rid of 4, 5, and 6, 1, 2, and 3, okay? And you started with Rogue One in that type of world, cool. But Rogue One sticks out like a sore thumb because it doesn't fit in with the rest of the movies that were made. Rogue One is good because of the contrast between Force and threat of it, the legend of it, and the dark, grittier tone. Right, but it's not a Star Wars film. Yeah, no, I like the ending of it. But what I'm saying, listen to me. If Rogue One started as New Hope, creature, if Rogue One was the first movie that came out in a world of Star Wars films, and they built off of that, that would be badass. Because it would set the tone, right? But because it came all after that, and takes a little moment of how do they get the plans of the Death Star, and it leads right into New Hope. If you watch them in chronological order, and you watch 1, 2, and 3, and then watch Rogue One, and then watch New Hope, it sticks out like a sore thumb. I'm not saying it's not a good movie. I'm saying it's not a good Star Wars movie. Well, actually, it was supposed to be a different ending completely. Then the director changed it into what it is, right? Oh, absolutely. It was a well-done film. Absolutely well-done film. But it needs to be a standalone. I would have loved if that movie was... If that movie was done as 7. Right? Even though it's not a Star Wars film, if that was episode 7 instead of what we got, 7, 8, and 9, that would have been interesting. That would have been real interesting. But because of where it sits in the chronological order, in the timeline, it's just kind of like, what is this? Like, if Rogue One was where episode 7 was and it took place 30 years later and they wanted to make it gritty and stuff like that, that would have been a better choice. I haven't seen Andor. Creature's on my case. He's like, you gotta watch it. I'm gonna watch it over the holidays. It's Christmas break. I'm gonna probably watch it. Yeah, I don't hate Rogue One. I just don't like Rogue One as a Star Wars film. It sticks out. It just, again, it's because it's in the middle of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, Boba Fett, I can understand, Jones. I can understand. Boba Fett was terrible. And then when I think it couldn't have gotten worse, it did. If Sony owned Star Wars, we could have gotten 7, 8, 9 remakes by now. Or at least remasters. We could have got remasters. I'm the same way. I'm the same way, 8. I'm like a as people gatekeep like video games and certain things, I'm a gatekeeper when it comes to like keep that crap out. Like, I don't care about those characters. I want to know about Space Wizards. I think he remastered them. Was it 10 years apart, though? Let's see. No. Here it is, right? Here's the list. So 1977 Star Wars theatrical release. Okay. 77 theatrical release. 1980, Empire Strikes Back. 81, Star Wars was re-released with additional subtitles to the opening crawl. Okay, that's it. Just change that. 1983, Return of the Jedi. 1985, the original Star Wars film was re-released on VHS, Laserdisc, improved audio mix. 1993, the original trilogy was released on Laserdisc, Definitive Collection, which is an exception of the new THX audio mix, scratch with and dirt removal, right? So they just cleaned it up, okay? Which was 10 years after all the movies came out, so that's okay, right? 1995, the original trilogy was re-released on VHS and THX, okay? 1997, special edition, the original trilogy was re-released in theatricals from January, March 20th anniversary, okay? Features significant changes in which intended to improve the industrial light and magic could effectively produce CGI, so that's a major change, okay? 1999, Episode 1. Okay, 2002, Episode 2. 2004, in September, the original trilogy was released again on DVD, which was 10 years after the other ones. 2005, Episode 3. 2006, limited edition DVDs. 2011, the original prequel trilogy were released on Blu-ray. Alterations were made to all 6 films. Phantom Menace was theatrical release again. 2015, the original prequel films were released in digital download. And 2019, the original prequel films were released on 4K resolution. We need a remake of 7, 8, and 9. That's the only thing I'll be okay with. I hate remakes and remasters, but I'll take it for 7, 8, and 9. I want a complete redone remake of 7, 8, and 9. All right. I want to read this last story because we can talk about Star Wars all day. Episode 2 is a crime. It exists. Its existence bothers me to this day. It's that. Where did it hurt you, creature? Where did Episode 2 hurt you? Point on the Leia doll. Wasn't there a rumor that Disney was going to pretend that 7, 8, 9 never happened? I don't know. We'll see. Someone call Sony. We need a remake fast. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of 30NSG. On today's show, we're going to be talking about an IGN article of they played Resident Evil 4 on the iPhone 15 Pro, and they didn't like it. But I want to kind of go over a couple of points in this. He goes, when you think of playing games on the iPhone 15, the first thing that comes to mind is probably something like Genshin Impact. But starting with the iPhone 15 Pro, Apple is really pushing on putting console-quality games on the iPhones. While there are first smartphones that support hardware-accelerated ray tracing, the CPU and GPU in the iPhone are way less powerful than what you find on your PlayStation 5. Now, Apple has addressed these somewhat right out of the gate with the mental upscaling tech, which is a DLSS, uses machine learning to upscale your games to higher resolution. But when playing games like Resident Evil 4 and Death Stranding, Apple needs a bit more than just a good algorithm. They say, is this the future? It says, I was recently invited to get some hands-on with the AAA games coming from the iPhone, namely Death Stranding and Resident Evil 4. However, it's clear that both of these games are either very early in the port process or they're just going to be that great or not that great an experience on the phone. Now, Resident Evil 4 was a great example of this. While the impressive that the game was running natively on the actual phone at all, his actual experience of playing the game was less so. Frame drops were extremely common, especially when aiming my weapon or loading into the area. I expect something element of performance drops or such as low-power devices, but when the game essentially comes to complete stop when zombies is trying to eat my face, that's an issue. So what makes it worse is that the game is best played on the controller rather than natively on a touchscreen. So it really gets the most out of the game if you're trying to, if you need to pick up an expensive controller or controller adapter on top of paying a full $60 price for what is likely to be the worst version of the game. To be clear, the version of the Resident Evil 4 I played was early build, and it could not get a lot better, but it made a stand. Especially bad was the wealth of excellent mobile games played on the device. I want to kind of touch this, though, right? Right now, the PlayStation Portal is being sold for $200, okay? You can't really play it mobily because there's no browser on the actual thing. And the reason there's no browser, that's another conversation, is because they don't want you to be able to play Xbox games on the device. Hence why there's no browser, okay? There's a browser on the Switch, but it's hidden, okay? You can actually go on a browser. I don't know if you could actually play Xbox games on there, but there is a browser that's hidden inside the Nintendo Switch, okay? But going to this, they're saying, well, you have to buy an expensive controller. Well, right now, to play on the PlayStation Portal, you have to buy a $200 device to play all your PlayStation games on a portable device that's going to have delay, which has been proven to be slower than the actual cloud gaming on the or remote play on the phone. So it's like you could buy Resident Evil 4 on your system and then play through the cloud if you wanted to and have less delay than you would be playing natively on the phone. Okay. It says Apple Arcade is the best place to play mobile games. He says there have been full versions of console games coming to iOS ever since Square Enix started porting Final Fantasy games to the App Store. But where the iPhone 15 Pro really shines is the games that are built for the iPhone. The games that made most fun playing with the Sonic Dream Team or the Division Resurgence. Both of these games are part of a huge franchise, but instead of shoving them onto the phone, they're built from the ground up to play on the mobile platform. That means the eligible UI, usable controls, and truly excellent performance. Neither the Division Resurgence nor Sonic Dream Team feel like watered-down cash grabs, whether they like the mobile versions of big-name games have in the past. Now, Sonic Dream Team is an incredibly fun 3D platformer that feels better than most of the 3D Sonic games have in the past. Likewise, the Division Resurgence just feels like a fully-fledged Division game, especially when you pull it up on the iPad that's dropped up on the tablet or on the table. The new chipset behind the iPhone 15 Pro is also giving games like Star Rail and Diablo Immortal a visual boost, making them look like premium games, experiencing most people want other than on the phone. Now, because instead of the console game, it was also downscaled and comprehensive Oblivion, with also aliasing of entails Sonic Dream Team is a gorgeous platformer that's just fun to play, whether you're touching on the screen or on a controller. Now, it almost feels like Apple is ashamed of its kind of game, though. Instead of pushing these incredible games, Apple is pushing the new hardware in the game that's just better on the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox. Now, the streaming elephant in the room, the game like Resident Evil 4 running on the iPhone, even in currently weakened state, would have a hell of a lot more impressive if you couldn't play the same game a lot better by just opening your Xbox game streaming app and playing it that way. He says, yeah. You need a good internet connection to stream games like that, but playing Resident Evil 4 natively on the phone, even worth it if it struggles to run 30 frames per second? I argue no. Even looking back at the launch of Google Stadia and the places where the game streaming seems best wasn't sitting at home at the laptop or in front of your TV. It was playing your games on your phone. Google Stadia is sleeping with the fishes now, but Xbox game streaming and, to lesser extent, PlayStation Remote Play is a better way to play games like Resident Evil 4 on your phone. It might even be cheaper in the long run games this way, because Xbox Game Pass, which is only available on your phone, but even Samsung TV supports it natively now. And I don't know what Apple can really do to this, but it's part of the suspect that Resident Evil 4 and Death Stranding aren't meant more as a tech demo, admittedly impressive on the A17 Pro chipset, rather than just diverting the great gaming experience. After all, Apple's already delivering excellent games through Apple Arcade, so it clearly knows how to make the games great on mobile gaming experience. Resident Evil 4 on the iPhone just isn't it. Okay? It says the handheld question. Is it probably not Apple's best interest in handheld gaming is on the rise again? Because why would I play a down-res version of the Death Stranding on the iPhone when I can just play the game's decent quality settings on Steam Deck? Now that pretty much that everyone that wants to play the game like Resident Evil 4 is the way to play the kind of on the go, whether it's through Nintendo Switch or the best handheld gaming PC, paying full price for the version doesn't really run as well on the phone as a bit harder to swallow. This is especially true if you already own the game in question on Steam, for instance. As the time goes on, the iPhone SoC gets more advanced. The gaming is naturally going to improve, but given that there's no many other devices, making it wonder that Apple isn't even trying to make AAA games happen on the iPhone. It probably is never going to happen, and at least not going to be a way a Cupertiner's Giant wants to. So let me give you my thoughts. Right? So the iPhones, as they come out, right? Obviously, this is the first attempt. We're playing native games on your cell phone. Before, everyone wished that you could play games on your cell phone. Now, since that time frame, there are games that you can play, but you're not actually playing it on your cell phone natively. You're playing it through the browser, right? I've been doing this for about 4 years now. I've been playing xCloud. Okay, I was an early adopter for the xCloud test, and I would play games. I'm going on vacation this week, right? So when I'm going down south, all I bring with me is this controller. That's it. Okay, I have an iPad, I have my iPhone, and I sit there when someone else is on the television set. I turn on my controller, boot up the Xbox app, and I start playing my Xbox remotely through the device. And for most of the time, for single-player games, it works beautifully. Okay, sure, there's dips and hits and stuff like that when you're playing through the game, but natively, I don't need to play natively through the phone. But I'm using the monitor. This is why I find it funny that people are playing PlayStation Portal right now, and they're defending it because, oh, well, I can play my games. It's the best experience. I could literally buy a $60 monitor with Bluetooth capability, okay, that connects to my Wi-Fi as well for less than $60, okay? It could be a 9-inch monitor. It could be a 15-inch monitor. You could buy a separate monitor that hooks up to your Wi-Fi, and you could play your games just like that. Now, with the iPhone, people are like, well, I'm not gonna buy these games. But the fact that your iPhone could play the games is impressive, because now you don't need to go buy a standalone handheld. You could literally, if you're on a PlayStation, you can use your phone or tablet to play remote. You don't need to go buy the PlayStation Portal. Okay. If you're on Xbox, you don't need to go buy a handheld to play Xbox. You can, anywhere there's a browser or an app you can download for your phone or your tablet, you can play your games there as well. Now, obviously, it's not great for multiplayer experiences, but again, for single-player games, it works just fine. So where does iPhone go set into this? Again, this is a test. Just like Google Stadia was a test, they had a bad business model with buying the game again for the Stadia, but it actually worked really, really well. Like, the technology behind Stadia was fantastic, but the business model was bad. Apple, already in there. They're like one of the top cell phone mobile gaming. They're leading. I think it's like 6 or 9% or whatever it is. Okay. And they're the leaders. And now that they're bringing these games in, this is just another example of testing the waters, seeing what works, and then adjust as they go. Obviously, no one's buying an iPhone 15 Pro Max to play Resident Evil 4. Maybe you are. Maybe you're insane. Maybe you have a lot more money than common sense. But you would probably have a phone regardless, and down the road, when they're all baked in and they all can run games, you're more willing to try it, buy it natively through it. But if not, you're going to use that phone as a mobile device by buying a backbone that's $99, and boom, voila, you have a mobile device handheld that you can play on the train, at a hotel, while you're sitting on the toilet. I mean, that's what the PlayStation Portable is. It's the Potty Station Portable, okay, or Portal, okay. That's what it is. So all these companies are going to try to jockey in position. Backing off of this, or going into the PlayStation Portal a little bit, I think it's funny to me that the PlayStation Portal, the reason they don't have a web browser on there is because they don't want you or anybody that's on PlayStation to attempt to play any other games out there. And this is exactly why they don't have a browser yet. Now, they could put a browser in down the road, but if you do that, then that means you could take the PlayStation Portal and I can boot it up and I can start playing Xbox Game Pass on my PlayStation Portal. These are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. What do you think about games natively coming to the iPhone? Or what do you think about just remote play in general? Leave it in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. Let me see what you guys are talking about here. Don't they know Resident Evil 4 is Game of the Year? Yeah, I don't know if I would pay $60 for a game on the phone. The price point is a little off-putting for me. Dave says, how does No Man's Sky run on the phone? They run fine. Like, the question, right? A lot of people don't want to play games on the phone, right? But when I'm super far away and I just open up my phone and I hit remote, it's playing off the device. So if I'm playing Star Wars Battlefront 2 single player or co-op with my son, we play. If I play single player games, right? It's not every once in a while you get like a hit, right? Right? But it's right on there. Like it's the exact thing. It's just a screen. Okay? You can start playing, and as long as you have good internet, it's amazing, right? Now, obviously, if you're playing multiplayer games, you're going to have a massive delay on certain points. It all depends on how many people are using the internet where you are, dips and whatnot. So if you're looking for kill-death ratios, you probably don't want to play on remote play. But it's going to get better. What I think is funny about this is that they use a cell phone hotspot because the portal doesn't have a browser, so they can't log into the public hotspots. Yeah, Eclipse, it's funny because to play better, you have to get your hotspot, so you're using your phone where you could just use your phone. Chris says, I play premium games on my Android phone, like Titan Quest Anniversary Edition, Dead Cells, Castlevania, Symphony of Nights, and so on. Yeah, I've been playing for years through the device, and I love it. The only upside I can see is thus far for the native gaming device versus streaming is if your commute involves subways or low-speed internet, so you're better off downloading. Yeah. But even at that time, I guess, it all depends, I guess, how long your commute is, right? Because if you are going to buy a $60 game just so you can play 10 minutes a day to work and from work, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. I don't know if it's worth it. Now, obviously, it's each their own. Portal just needs a PlayStation 5 cloud streaming. If they put a browser on there, that means you can use that device and play Xbox on it. That's the realism of it. And PlayStation's probably looking for a way to make sure that you can't do that. Spoopy says, I don't want to play a fully immersed game on my phone personally. Yeah, and this is the reason I don't play a lot of like right now I'm playing, I forget what the number's called. The game is called. It's a mobile game. It's called 2248. It's one of those phone games that you just move the numbers and stuff like that. Like, I'll play with that at the doctor's office or while I'm waiting for something. I'm not gonna boot up, Star Wars Battlefront 2 and put a 30-minute match in. That's mostly what I use, Jones. I just watch YouTube. Travis says, do you think the new Republic Commando that you can play with friends would sell in today's market? I think it would sell like 2-3 million copies. That's about it. That's a game that they would just throw on Game Pass or EA Play or something like that. Sony doesn't want you to watch OnlyFans on the portal. Smoothie says 50% of the reason I have a portal is for home convenience. The other 50% is because it looks cool, honestly. I have a question, Smoothie. So you have a portal. Do you have multiple televisions in your home, or do you only have one television in your home? Just my bedroom TV. And my stepson has a TV. So in a world of like, so is your PlayStation 5 hooked up to your bedroom TV, or is it in your son's room or your stepson's room? My girlfriend complains, so I go to the portal. Okay. So you share, okay, that makes sense. So your son has his own TV, and then you share a TV with another adult in the house, and she wants to watch a show. So you want to like hang out next to her, and you play games while she's watching a movie. That's basically the example, right? Okay. You are exactly the clientele that it was meant for, right? That is it. That is because anyone else that gives me an example of, they're like, well, what about if I just only own one television? And I'm like, but if you own one TV, it's cheaper to buy another TV, and it can get more out of it than just playing Portal. If you're just playing at home. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you're only playing at home, you could go buy a 32-inch television set less than $200, and you can watch internet TV. You could play, if you wanted to, you could now play Xbox games because it's also a smart TV as well. Who's buying a $200 TV? What do you mean, creature? They're all over the place. Who's buying? That's a terrible idea? What are you talking about? Chapter 8 says the trick is to just not need to hang out with the spouse that much. We have our own gaming rooms, and I don't need him breathing near me when I'm playing. Aren't the $200 television sets like 720p? I looked up one the other day. It was a 32-inch Samsung Smart TV 1080p, and it was literally $199. Not until they add cloud streaming. It'll be 10 times better and working a lot better than a phone. Yeah, but Roadkill, you paid full price now to wait. Maybe it comes down the road 6 months, 10 months, 12 months, 18 months, right? The only reason it's not cloud right now is because they don't want you playing Xbox games on the PlayStation device. That's the only reason. Wonder Rose says 69 at Best Buy. No, I understand cloud's been confirmed, creature. What I'm saying is the only reason it's not out right now is because they're trying to figure out to stop people from using the browser so you could play, because your portable device, people would be able to play Game Pass on that device. My biggest concern is what happens if I get stick drift on the portal. You will. I mean, it's not if. You will at some point. Put a small television set in your lap. Well, you know what, Roadkill, and I'm so happy that you actually said that, right? At least you know, right? If you're blindly loving something, that's cool, right? But just know that that's what it is, right? You're okay to be a fan of something, infatuated with something, and anything they come out with, you buy, and you're excited about it. That's cool. Yeah, but even the Steam Deck and the Ally, whatever it's called, right? They're more expensive than the Portal. Creature's like, it's not the device I would ever use, because if someone's on the TV, I just tell them to get their asses off, right? That cost is already getting the cost of the Portal. They would need to give you some sort of, if they do an app or whatnot, roadkill. But the cloud streaming, you're correct. You don't need a browser, but to play your game through the hotel, McDonald's, Starbucks, you need a browser to log into most Wi-Fi networks. Right? Sure, you could hook up to like the open Wi-Fi network. I'm sure it would be absolute ass because everyone else is on the same one. Just ignore the stick drift. Yeah, if you don't think about it, it's not there. I think $200 is a great price for the Portal. I mean, you could literally buy the screen that they have on that thing for like $60. Like, there's a $10 piece of plastic that you can hook up to your controller and put your phone on there. There's a browser on the PlayStation 5, but you can't play Xbox games on it, right? You could log in and probably could. I've never done it myself, but you probably could, yeah. Because all you have to do is go to Xbox.com and then click on it. And then click on your account, and then go to device, and then go to stream. That's how I play my Xbox games through my VR headset. No, they blocked it. There you go. They probably have to just work out the kinks in the back end because they wanted to get it out for the holidays. They made the money. Same with the Switch. The Switch has a browser, but it's hard to get, like, it's just a menu, hell of a menu system to get through, right? Nobody's asking for Game Pass on PlayStation 5. That's not the point, El. The reason they're not doing it is because of that. Because if you make a handheld and they can, like, people would start buying the device just to use it for other purposes. Right? Hence why people, you know, what's it called when you, what's the thing you call when you break a phone? Jailbreak, when you jailbreak a phone or anything like that, right? It's the same exact thing. Yeah. Anyone that buys a piece of gear wants to do what they want with it, right? To say that nobody's going to be playing Game Pass on a PlayStation 5, if you can play other games for a small price for $200, it's the cheapest. It would be the cheapest portable device out there. It would be the cheapest portable device out there for $200. Exactly, Ford. There are some people who would complain about the quality of Resident Evil 4 on the phone, though. The same people would also complain, aren't they getting the same Hogwarts quality on the Switch after waiting for so long? I mean, those people are just not educated, right? To think that you're going to get the same experience on the Switch that you would get on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X or S for that game is ridiculous. Oh, would you like me to use the word special instead, Jones? They're special. There's going to be I can't wait for the articles to be written. I can't wait for the articles to be written. Because those people you just said, those people that are not educated and don't know, or the special kind, are thinking they're going to be getting their son or daughter a game system with the PlayStation Portal, okay? And they're going to think that when they open that up on Christmas or Hanukkah, they're going to open it up and go, what is this? They're like, it's a PlayStation. It's a PlayStation Portal. They're like, yeah, but I need a PlayStation. And they're like, oh. All right, well, your birthday's coming up. Because $200 price tag is really nice, right? But the people that have, right? But the people that have a PlayStation, that's a great price for $200. But the people that don't have a PlayStation 5, they're going to be opening up the boxes and going, what is this? Mom, I need a Portal. Or I need a PlayStation 5. They're like, well, how much is a PlayStation 5? $500. You're not getting that this time. Well, if they didn't buy one, they're not getting one. It's sold out everywhere. Well, the reason it's sold out everywhere, Rose, this is how they do it, right? The Switch did this in the very beginning, right? So they make a lot of let's say they make 20 million Switches, right? I'll say Switches because I don't want people to get upset about the Portal, right? This is what Nintendo did when they came out. So they made 20 million Switches, and they ship out to the United States for 20 million units, and they do 2 million at a time, and they bring it out to the stores, and they sell out like this, and then it builds up this hype. Oh man, it's the hottest selling thing when you get this, and they get small quantities, right? Because when Best Buy had them, they would only have like 10, or Kohl's would only have like 15 of them, and this is what they did. This is how they build up supply and demand. Small supply, build up the demand, everyone goes out and gets them. Okay, that's exactly the same thing, right? PlayStation's doing the exact same thing with the PS Portal. Okay, small quantities, handed out to places, they sell them out real fast. Okay, and then they replenish them again. I've already saw ones that are already replenishing. That's not new. That's business model. That's the business model. Plus, PlayStation was up front. Need a PlayStation 5 to operate it. Yeah, but you're missing the whole point. I said the people that are uneducated and don't do their research are going to buy it. This is the same thing that happened when Xbox people bought an Xbox One instead of an Xbox Series X because they didn't do the research. They saw the price online and bought it, and then gave their kids the wrong actual system. I'm sure there will be. Does it say on the box, cloud coming soon? Like, what does it say on the box? I'm asking. Does it say anything about... internet connection or anything like that on the box? Oh, absolutely, Smoothie. Absolutely. It says remote play. Does it say on the box anywhere that down the line, coming soon? Cloud gaming? Is there a sticker or something? Do you know how many parents during the holidays are like, yeah, I don't know what that is. Just give it to me. You know how many people? Any of you guys work in retail? You know how many parents used to come in? When I worked at Apple and we were selling iPods when they first came out, they didn't even know what it was. They're just like, I'll take them. I don't care what it is. They didn't care what the gigs were or what it did. They're like, give me one of those. Exactly, Travis. Like, shut up. Come on. Every year there's a kid that wants a PlayStation 5, and they couldn't get a PlayStation 5 the last 2 years, right? Because it was hard, supply chains were bad because of COVID, right? And they got an Xbox Series S instead. They're like, here you go. Here's a game system. They're like, fuck is this, Dad? I wanted a PlayStation 5, right? That happens. Oh, that's another problem. That happens with Xbox too. They buy a disc for their system, and they have a digital system. There was one video last year where a kid was yelling at his parents for getting him a Series S instead of a PlayStation 5. Yeah. Instead of saying thank you, he's arguing with them. Be like, okay, I'll tell you what, give me this. And save up. Go get a job. If my son did that, I grab it right from him and go, that's all right. Don't worry about it. You get nothing, and you go get a job. Go start mowing lawns. Save up. Oh, you want to do the laundry? Here you go. Here's a quarter. Go cut our grass. Here's 10 cents. How much more do you need? Oh, 500. Okay, well, by the time you're 12, you should have something. Chapter 8 says, if it was me, I asked if the cloud, if it could sell as a used proceed towards that I wanted, but my parents would have called me ungrateful and that giving me nothing. As it should. $0.10, man. I got 40 acres, Travis. I got 40 acres. Yeah, no push mower here. We got a tractor. Kid deserves at least $1. We'll see. If my kid, which he wouldn't, if he ever said that something like that, he'd be lucky if he got $1. He'd be lucky if he got a quarter. He'd be doing it for free. No, we don't hunt on our land. Not for sport, anyway. We hunt to protect our animals. So, like, if a coyote, a bear, anything comes on, it'll be like the last resort to kill it, because we let them pass and live on the property. You know what I mean? As long as they're not a nuisance. Exactly, creature. Tonight we're going to be playing some more Lord of the Rings Return of Moria. Having fun with that. Me and Nakuda Papa have been playing. If anybody wants to play with us, we got room for 2 more. So if you're playing that game and you want to hang out with people, come on by 8 p.m. tonight. Our schedule for the remainder of the week is we have a let's play tonight, 8 p.m. We have tomorrow morning more content like this, and then I'm done for the week. I'm off. No stream Wednesday night, no stream Thursday morning, no podcast Thursday this week. But you can go check out our past broadcasts. We got plenty of 373 episodes of Generation X Gaming to watch. Also, we do uploads and whatnot as well. So if you missed any part of the conversation, you can watch this video in its full, or you can wait till I break out videos. Dupla says, is everyone forgetting that they somehow add cloud to the PlayStation doorstop, that is still going to have the same limitations where you can actually use it? Yeah, but here's the thing. I think the people that are... I know this is crazy, and I say this, Dupless, because... Oh, I'm not leaving yet, L. I'm not leaving yet. It's like people playing a video game, right? People are going to buy a game that they want to play regardless if it's good or bad, right? And people are going to get the PlayStation Portal because they like it. I know it's crazy, right? I'm not mad as a person that the PlayStation Portal exists. I'm upset as a consumer that they can do so little and still have people buy it up where they should expect more. But again, I'm not the consumer, right? So people are going to buy what they want to buy. They're going to spend their money what they want to spend their money on. Even if I wanted to buy one, I would have to buy a PlayStation 5 first. Why? So I got to spend $500, and then I got to spend another $200 to get the portable device so I can not play on my television set to play on my lap. Where right now, I can just turn my phone on, hook up to my PlayStation remotely, just like that's doing. And I didn't spend anything. I didn't spend $500 for PlayStation 5, and I didn't spend, what's it called? I didn't spend another $200 to play remote. I think a lot of people, I think PlayStation right now, all right, PlayStation right now is going to have a lot of people sitting on the toilet playing their games now. Congratulations. Well, I appreciate this movie. Thank you very much for the $2 super chat. Appreciate that. So Mines of Moria, is it good or just meh? I don't know. Do you like survival games? Oh, you couldn't hear because I have the music low. You can't hear it. My bad. Well, thank you very much for the $1.99 super chat. Appreciate that. It spoke and said it, but I have my music really low and it's on the same channel. As opposed to reading or scrolling social media on the toilet. I mean, all I have to say is if you're playing PlayStation Portal on the toilet, make sure you eat more fiber. Because if you're sitting on the toilet that long, you're probably going to get a hemorrhoid or something. All right? That's all I'm saying. L says, I can confirm Portal is awesome while taking a giant log. There you go. Like, all of a sudden, their stats at PlayStation, they're like, oh, this is amazing. Since we sold the Portal, we can track people where they are, and everyone's house, everyone's in the toilet. It's amazing. We have more players in the toilet than ever before. Yeah, Valheim. Valheim is just like it. What's another one? Any Ark, Conan, any of that stuff. I like Moria because it's Lord of the Rings, right? We had this conversation before, Travis. Like, if a game is the exact same game, but in an IP that you're interested in, right? Like, take Destiny, right? Destiny's a shooter game, but if you take Destiny, exact same game, skin it with Star Wars, to me, better game, right? If you take Battlefront and turn that into G.I. Joe, better game, right? Combat's pretty good. It's not great, but it's pretty good. The enemies are getting a little bit harder, but you have like these runes that you put on your weapons, Jones, and you can start doing like knockback or poison or frozen. So it's pretty cool. I like the progression of you're pushing through, you're finding new things, finding new recipes, build the stuff, move forward, so on and so forth. You know, I think I'm going to sell my wife on the Portal. I don't own a PlayStation 5. I'll be like, babe, if you want me to sit with you on the couch more, you're going to have to buy me a PlayStation 5 and a Portal. Because I can't sit on the couch with you to play the Portal unless I have a PlayStation 5. We can cuddle more. And she'll be like, no. Having damage / abilities makes the combat more interesting already. Yeah, it has like different things. And so right now I'm running a mallet and I have a battle axe. My battle axe, I haven't put anything on yet. My mallet, I have a pushback. I got an upgraded shield, tier 2. I have all my gear on me, tier 2. There's no skills or anything that you're doing. So all the recipes that you have and the armor that you put on is leveled up as is. What you need to do is convince her to pay you for what you already do. So wait a minute. What I already do. Okay. I could save you $799. Just tell her to shut the fuck up. That's her wanting her problem be the thing in the past. Yeah, no, she wouldn't go for it. She wouldn't go for it. See, the reason I got a Switch was because I sold it as, well, we can give it to our son. And when I need to use it, I'll use it. And she was like, okay. Right? I got to sell it. I can't sell a $500 system and then a $200 system so I can sit on the couch with her. That's not happening. No, there's no, at least that I know of, at least not now. There's no skills on the actual characters. So what you're doing is you're going into the cave system and whatnot, and there's like these statues that you find. And when you repair the statue, it unlocks a recipe. Sometimes it's like 1 of 2, 1 of 3, whatever it is. Once you get that, then you have the recipe. Then you have to find the ingots and the resources for that recipe. And then you can put that on you, right? So there's no skills of like knockback or anything like that. You're literally just playing as far as if you have the recipe and you have the resources, you can make the weapon, you can make the armor, and then you have to, if you have the rune, then you can make the runes. Elle says, I love my Portal, but because there's no PlayStation 5 cloud, no web browser, and no Bluetooth, I can't recommend it. But I still love the Portal. And I think that's the biggest thing, right? That my thing, Elle, is I guess it's priced right for what it is. But the problem to me with the Portal is because there's so many features missing from it, I don't think anyone should buy it yet. Because if people buy it, Sony looks at this and goes, okay, well, we can make money off of this with less features. There's no difference between what's happening there and when games come out broke, buggy, and unfinished, right? It's literally a device that's unfinished that they're going to upgrade down the road. That's my problem. The industry is never going to get better because minority of the population keeps buying stuff that's incomplete. I did some research. Dedicated servers on the roadmap for Moria, but not in the game right now. I think they said they're going to add that once it comes onto console, if I'm not mistaken. Did they change that? Stem packs are a late game recipe? I don't know if that's... I forget, Travis. I don't think it's in early access. It might be. It's on Epic Games Store. I don't remember them saying it's early access. It's on PC only right now. It comes out early next year, I think, for console. I think it's out. I think it's out for PC. But obviously it's a game in 2023, so... I'm not sure if I want to dive back in. There's a lot of games I can just go back in, try one, play one night or whatnot. Let's see. Lord of the Rings Return to Moria release date was Tuesday, October 24th on PC and is now available to buy on PC exclusive Epic Games Store. It is set to arrive on PlayStation 5 on Sunday, December 5th, 2023, and then on Xbox in early 2024. So no, it's out. It's not a early access. It literally released on PC first, PlayStation on December 5th, and then Xbox early next year. It's crossplay, L. So when you get it on PlayStation, if there's a night we're playing, you want to join us, Come on in. Oh, I was saying Helldivers. Helldivers is only on PlayStation and PC, right? And is it crossplay? Because I'll probably play it on PlayStation. Or I'm sorry, I'll probably play it on PC because obviously I don't have a PlayStation 5. Did you guys see that there's signups for Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League? They have a test going on from November 30th to December 5th. You can sign up and see if you get in. I don't know the models I have for my I have 3 monitors. I have a shitty old television that's a Pro Scan that was junk, and that's what I have my my YouTube channel up on there, right, to see chat and the stats and whatnot. Then the one in front of me, I have a Samsung. I had 3 Samsung that were all the same. It's a S27E330. They're 32-inch or 27-inch monitors. 27? Yeah, 27-inch monitors. I have one here and then like one here. And then I have my 50-inch television set like literally like here. Here. It's about 5 feet away from me. Helldivers 2 looks good. Stupid fun. Yeah, I think it's going to be like Starship Troopers. It's going to feel like that. I got these monitors. I had 3 Samsung monitors. My third one, which is my oldest one, bailed out on me like 2 years ago. But I got them on sale. I think each one of these was like $180. So I bought 2 of them at the same time. I want to get one of those. I saw it at Costco. They have a, what is it, a 42-inch or 49-inch, like super wide monitor. Like, just get rid of the multiple monitors and just get one. I think they're selling it for like $1,000. Still too rich for my blood. Just got a LG 45-inch OLED monitor. Oh, nice. Let me see what that one looks like. Is this like this, or did you get the? you get something like this? That's the one I was looking at, Chief. I saw it at Costco for like 1,000 or a little less than 1,000. It's pretty sexy. Right, that's what I used to have. I used to have the 3 monitors across, and now I have the 2 monitors, and then 1 monitor's up high now. It's a real small 19-inch, 20-inch. Only issues playing older games. You usually have a mod them to get the resolution to work. Oh yeah, that would be. You just gotta stop. You just gotta stop playing older games. Oh wow, they even made it lower. Yeah, so they have the Samsung. This is the one that's at Costco. They put it on sale even more. Yeah, it was $1,000 for the 49-inch. And now it's with $250 off even more, so it's $749. Oh, but see, the refresh rate's 120 hertz. 4 milliseconds. Yeah, KOTOR's on the Switch. 1 and 2, I believe. Joe's like, modern problems require modern solutions. It's a good price for this. $649 for this. LG makes good monitors. This particular model, though, doesn't have the 240 one. It says 144 hertz and 200 hertz. Yeah, the 240 hertz is 1,100 at Best Buy. Yeah, $11.99. That's not even as wide. You know what I started using? But obviously it's not as clear. But I started using my MetaQuest 2, and I have the virtual desktop. So now I have like a giant screen across the whole thing. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Oh, I'm sure there'll be Black Friday deals. I'm not in the market right now, Chief, so nothing's wrong. The monitors I have are good. When one breaks, maybe if I take a baseball bat to it and say I need one, maybe. But other than that, everything works fine. It's like, what do you need for Christmas? I don't need anything. I need a new computer monitor. I have the option to make my 50-inch a monitor as well, but I don't use it very often. Like when Sarge comes up here and we do the podcast and we have like, so he can see the monitor, like I'll put it up there so both of us can see it, but. All right. It's closing in at 1 o'clock. We usually get done by 1 o'clock. Go hang out with my son. He's off from school. We got things to do. Samsung Odyssey 55-inch on Amazon. Black Friday deal. 2000. There you go. Oh, yeah. That's right up my alley. Appreciate the sub. We'll be back tonight for some more Lord of the Rings. We played that last night. You can go watch the past broadcast for that. We're going to be playing that more tonight. We'll be back tomorrow morning for more news stories, and then we're off for the holidays. For Thanksgiving, I go visit my family. So we'll be back. We usually do Monday through Thursday, and then we're off on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This week, we'll do Monday through Wednesday morning, and then we're off Wednesday night through next Monday. So I'll be back on Monday for more. I appreciate everyone coming out, hanging out with us today. If you're new in the channel, I appreciate it. Hit that like button on the video. Go check out our other videos. If you want to go above and beyond that, become a member, or sorry, become a subscriber. Hit the subscribe button. And if you want to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do lots of different content. We have 4 morning shows that we do Monday through Thursday. We do 3 gameplays Monday through Wednesday. We do a podcast on Thursday nights, and we do a bunch of uploads and whatnot on this channel as well. If I don't see you on the videos tonight or tomorrow morning, you guys have a great, happy Thanksgiving. If you're celebrating Thanksgiving, if not, if you're just resting the rest of the world, just have a great day. Have a good week. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.